All right, guys and gals, welcome to the Doodle Lounge, where I did not think ahead to make any sort of catchy intro thing. So this is what we have. I am your host,
Stock
James.
applause insert.
Stock applause. And we also have Jeff and Donovan as our other hosts.
Hello.
You will get to know them very well.
Hello.
Hello. All right.
And
So
regret it.
Roll credits now, please.
Yeah, we haven't done anything stupid yet, so we can go ahead and just shut it down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what we're doing this inaugural episode is we are doing Paldean forms in honor of the brand new games coming out next month, but it's also Halloween, so we're giving them sort of a spooky Halloweeny vibe to those variants.
Happy Halloween to everyone out there as well.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
To everyone that didn't go out to a party and are watching the video.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I will go first.
Yeah, kick it off.
Ready? You guys ready? I'm ready.
Give us a countdown.
Yes,
Okay,
like Pokemon sucks.
3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so I did Furfro.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had to. I wanted to
I
like
didn't think about which one that was.
Yeah, so like the Pokemon, the what do you call it? I want to look sort of a Spanish folklore creature, and it's a dog, right? But I didn't want to pick a there's so many Pokemon that are dogs. I was afraid like one of you were also going to be choosing a dog Pokemon, so I had to think of one that wasn't going to be too on the nose, like that y'all might have picked. So I'm like, Furfro. No one does anything with Furfro, so I think it's gonna be a pretty safe bet. So I mean, Furfro itself isn't where the folklore inspiration came from. It's actually the evolved form we'll be seeing in a little bit, where it really takes shape. But
I'm really liking the way it's turning out right now. It looks
I'm not good at drawing dogs, so this is definitely a challenge, especially that back leg back there, like it's all up. I don't know what I'm doing here. I guess I took a break. Oh, I'm adding my second sketch layer to refine it.
Very nice.
I probably had to step away for something. I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to give it, obviously it's more what do you call it? More edgy in a way, like the story that I came up with,
it looks less domesticated.
Exactly, yeah. So the sort of the backstory here is that many years ago, importers brought in Furfro to Paldea. I keep saying Paldea, yeah.
Paldea,
and
Paldea.
it was such a popular pet that everybody went crazy for him. So the importers kept bringing in. Okay, I'm gonna actually pause it here because they the way. So yeah, they bring in the Pokemon. It's such a big hit that they keep bringing them in, trying to keep up with demand, and then that wanes, and they keep bringing them in. So then there's more than than needed. So they end up becoming strays, and that's what you're seeing here. Is that Furfro has now pretty much become like a stray dog type Pokemon.
Oh, that's cool.
You executed that very well. Yeah. It looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and the way I work, this is me working on the second form, and this won't happen again in the future because the way I tend to work is that art for me is two separate processes. The sketching and the line work is one process, and then coloring is an entirely other process for me. So I was afraid that if I drew one and colored it, and then drew the next one and colored it, they would look different, like they're not the same style.
Oh, okay.
So this is where the sort of the folklore monster comes in. It's actually a Spanish folklore creature called Urco, and it's a dog. It's like a ghostly dog with chains.
Kind of looks like a pile of swine.
Kinda, yeah. And
funny how it has the hair covering the face like Grievard now.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to, that's the big thing I wanted to gripe about. I did this recording, the first one on September 14th and this one on September 15th. I have receipts for when I did this, because when they announced that, I was so mad. I'm like, why? I was so
stole my
worried.
idea.
I was so worried about coming up with something similar to what you guys were going to do that I didn't even contemplate that I would come up with something similar to what Pokemon themselves were going to come up with.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
So yeah, this one sort of I always liked the idea about how Vaporeon it kept saying like in its lore that it could like turn its body into liquid and all that kind of stuff, but then they never expand. Thank you. They never like use that for Vaporeon. Like nothing about it ever says that it can actually do that in the game. So that's sort of what this Pokemon does. Like it lives halfway between our realm and the other realm, right? So like it's
and it's still a good boy.
It's still a good boy.
It's a good boy.
It's still a good boy. I'm trying to think if I should just show you guys the yeah, I'm just gonna pause this. I'm gonna show you the Pokedex for the first one so we can go over it actually.
Yeah, sure.
So let's do that. So this this is Paldean Furfro.
That's super nice.
Thank you. And I went with normal dark. I didn't know. I mean, this, like I said, this one wasn't really the focus of what I wanted this art project to be. It was more the second form, so I just needed something that could transfer easily into that second form, which this one works out pretty well. So it's the wild dog Pokemon. It's it has the abilities of adaptability, gluttony, and those are just sort of more backstory things. It had to adapt a lot to figure out how to survive when it wasn't wanted anymore in Paldea after the interest in them dropped off. Yeah, overbreeding, all that kind of stuff. Gluttony, I forget exactly what that did, but it made sense at the time.
It eats berries like sooner than it
usually would. Yeah. Well, and that's sort of like, oh, I'm starving, I need to eat, so that kind of thing. And we'll talk about Trace in a little bit. It's a hidden ability. So yeah, I think I did okay.
I think you did amazing. This is a really cool Pokemon.
Thank you.
The shiny's actually really cool too. I like that it's like a ghost gray and then it gets a cool purple nose.
Yeah. That's when I first started doing it, I just made the fur a little more greenish. But I was like, that's not enough. Cool. I don't like, because I'm not a big fan of the Pokemon when they get a shiny. It's just like a slightly altered color, like you'd have to really look.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna make the nose, and if you notice the underpaw here is also blue.
And I did notice red.
Yeah, so I figured that would be a nice indicator of, hey, I have a shiny. It's So now we'll get back into this, and it'll go over the coloring I did on both of them as well. But like I said, it's two totally different processes for me, and I didn't think about it. I was just like, I'm gonna get these done. So
gotta get them done.
Yeah, I went through a couple different variations that you saw earlier. I pretty much changed everything about it while I was sketching it, and this is I believe this is my second sketch layer to kind of refine what I was doing, which is actually a new thing that I do now. I typically just do one sketch and then go in with the pen for my outline. But I mean, I keep seeing other artists do something similar to what I'm doing here. Is they have a rough sketch layer and then a refining sketch layer, and some of them even do more like refining sketch layers to really get what they want. And so I tried that here, and I was actually really happy with how it turned out. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, oh, you're putting all of them on the same page too,
right? Yeah, and this so I can color them.
Okay. Your coloring method, our first look.
Yeah. So I typically do flat fills first, as you see, and then I'll go in with shading and highlights. I don't remember. It's really just how I'm feeling that day, depending on if I do shadings or highlights first. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'll take another break.
And take a quick break.
Yeah.
I like that even his chains look like they're melting.
Yeah.
Or coming from the shadow realm or whatever he's doing.
And I'll go in a little more detail about that once we see his Pokedex entry, because there's a lot of stuff that I really explained during the Pokedex entry. And this is sort of like, so like
I like this.
Yeah. So it's like when you're like in an underwater cave and like lights coming up and it's sort of like greenish. I wanted that feel. to where he's coming from the spirit world down there, so like the
that's
light
something
coming through.
I gotta
don't
say,
get with ghost Pokemon often is like an eerie glow somewhere.
Yeah, and I thought and I don't think this could ever be an actual Pokemon because they don't put chains on them like that. Like it's pretty, even for like this fun design that I'm happy with. I don't feel like it could ever be an actual Pokemon. It's just
really BDSM right now.
Yeah, it's a little much for official Pokemon.
I think
no, dude, you killed that. It's so good.
Because even with Pokemon that they give like quote unquote clothes to, they can always they always do it in a way where they can get away with saying that's part of the natural body. And chains, it's a little harder to do that. But if you did like maybe, I don't know, some kind of black tether or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you'll see in a little bit. I tried to work it into the lore of the Pokemon. And that was sort of a last minute thing. That I tried to make it work a little more friendly with the franchise. But I'm trying to figure out how I'm doing the. Nope, I had to change my mind on that one, I guess. It's me just playing with different brushes to see what I liked.
With the ghost Pokemon, the easy thing to get quote unquote wrong about Fakemon ghost Pokemon is people forget that they aren't actually ghosts usually. Like despite what the Pokedex says, which we all know the Pokedex is a lot of time is a lot of conjecture and it's not even real. But
right.
Pokedex is a liar.
Ghost Pokemon are more like supernatural creatures rather than actually undead creatures, because they can breed and they have genders usually, and they're actually alive. They're just like Pokemon that are tapped into the supernatural spirit realm and have those powers.
For sure, yeah. There's something I didn't think about. I always just keep thinking about them as ghosts.
Yeah,
but they have the gender and the breeding stuff.
It's a very blurred line with the Pokemon because they never say exactly whether they are or not. Then you hear mixed reports and
right. And I'm still working on how to shade metal. It's a process.
That looks good though.
Yeah, you knocked it out.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm happy. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I think I'm almost there. But you can always learn more.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to probably learn a lot doing YouTube with you guys because.
Oh, sure. That's what this is all about. I mean,
I'm still on iPad.
I really want to use this channel to like reach out to people and other artists and artists that are coming up and
for sure
trade ideas and
and if everybody wants to learn the wrong way, they can watch my tutorials.
Exactly. Because sometimes it's important to fail.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta keep trying.
And now, failing upward with Jeff.
That could be a small segment. It's like a 2-second video.
Yeah.
Then now, fixing Jeff's mistakes with Donovan.
Yeah. Yes.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here either.
Back to back.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I figured it out. I just. So yeah, fun fact there. I do shading first and then highlights.
That's kind of how I do first, then I do highlights.
Because highlights kind of makes sense in a way. Because I mean,
generally on top of things.
Yeah,
I kind of mix and match as well.
I find it an interesting detail that your evolution here does not appear to have ears, or he has very short ears. I like that it still works and doesn't look strange.
Actually, to be honest with you, I don't know what I did with the ears. Okay, so there.
I think it gives it that Pokemon flair though, where he,
Oh, dude,
this shiny is fire.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here, let me.
How Gengar should have been.
Yes.
Let me see. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna. This is where we're gonna go over a little bit with Urko, the actual Spanish folklore creature. It says on the Wikipedia, it says the Urko appears as a dog, either black or white. Yeah, see the shiny versus non-shiny.
Very good.
Now the folklore creature says it has large horns and ears. Obviously, this has neither. I kind of think the ears was an oversight. I mean, I don't know.
I like it though. I think it gives it that Pokemon quality where it's not exactly what it is.
It also says it has fiery eyes.
I mean, you got Houndoom, who doesn't have ears either.
Oh, it doesn't?
His horns. His horns took over his ears. I, for the longest time, thought Houndoom had like 2 pointed Doberman ears between his horns, and he does not have any.
Huh. Anyway, that's I never thought about
I
that.
also did not know that.
So Urko, the thing, it's said to raise from the sea on misty winter nights, dragging noisy change, howling loudly. Depending on accounts, it will start roaming the towns and city streets, visiting the houses of those soon to die, and recruiting dogs to its pack on the way. So, what I kind of worked out with that is that I didn't put it here in the Pokedex entries kind of after I had thought about it. Another reason there are so many Paldean Furfros is that when this does come through, it will even regular Furfros. They have like a strange like attraction to follow this thing. And I named it Burnico because it's sort of like a cross between Urko and like a bearded collie, or it also kind of looks like a Saint Bernard, sort of.
Yeah.
So I went with Burnico. I don't know. I'm
I
not
like
too good
it.
with the names. Thank you.
Do you ever see the cartoon Two Stupid Dogs?
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah, it does look like him.
yes,
Oh my
yes.
god.
Oh my
does.
god.
Especially the shiny. It'd be perfect. Name your shiny.
That's for our 90s
after
fan.
that dog. Forget what. Also,
Right.
by the way, I just want to say I'm just now noticing the transparent areas. That looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
that
you.
extra
That's
little
where the
there.
physical body kind of bleeds into the astral realm.
Effects wise, this is probably the coolest ghost Pokemon I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Like I said,
was
I would
super
catch
happy.
the hell out of this thing.
We need more of something like that on ghosts, because I love
sure.
how Dragapult's tail goes like see through at the very end of it, like that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. So here is the genius. That I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm a genius. I don't know if it's actually gonna work. I don't do Pokemon stuff like this. So what I was getting at with the I'm gonna bring it back up here. Furfro's trace ability, whenever you go into battle, you copy the ability of the Pokemon you're fighting, right? So if your Furfro has the hidden ability Trace, when you fight something that has the ability Perish Body, which at the time of me coming up with this, I didn't realize that the only Pokemon to have Perish Body is Galarian Corsola.
So
we're gonna go ahead.
Recognize it.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and say that in this region there are other Pokemon who have Perish Body.
Well, that happens. There's sometimes where Pokemon completely change abilities, or they get abilities of new Pokemon. Like Gengar used to always be Levitate. Now he's Cursed Body once Cursed Body was introduced.
Well, see, with this one, so you have to use your Trace ability Furfro to copy the ability of a Pokemon that has Perish Body. What Perish Body does is you get 3 turns after you've been physically attacked that you die, like your Pokemon faints. So what you have to do basically is copy Perish Body in that battle, get the effect going, and then you have to survive 3 turns until Perish Body knocks out your Furfro.
So it's kind of similar to Galarian Surfetched, how he needs 3 critical hits in the battle.
Yes, I figured if that could be that complicated, so could this.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically you can't die from being knocked out by another attack. You have to wait. You have to stay alive until Perish Body, the one you copied in that battle, faints your Furfro, and only then will it evolve into Burnico.
So you made it kind of a pain in the ass to evolve.
Yeah. So, but once
I
it
like
evolves,
that. His very first ability is also Perish Body to go with that lore, but then he also has like rarer.
Yeah. I mean that would kind of suck because when Pokemon evolve, they can get one of the other abilities, right? Okay, yeah.
So your first ability would become your first ability here, and then your second ability would become your second ability here, and then your third ability.
Yeah, see. But yeah, so let's see, local legend. Yeah, so this thing is so rare and because of the crazy evolution method that it's pretty much like a legend, right? So people think that it comes to take revenge on people who have mistreated the Furfro because of how they are in this region, but typically it doesn't care. It's just caught between the living world and the spirit world, and so it's sort of like Mimikyu. It's like they keep saying no one really knows what's underneath the same thing with this. People speculate that there's something holding the other end of the chains in the astral realm, and it's keeping it. It won't let it fully come back to our world, so it's like being constantly drugged down, but it's also trying to stay out.
That is literally a metal Pokedex entry.
Yeah.
Thing where it's like
Well, I mean, if Spoink stops, dies if it stops bouncing because it's heart.
Oh yeah,
I
forgot about Spoink.
This will be okay. I never forget about Spoink.
Never forget.
Never forget. Okay, well those are my Pokemans.
Dude, you killed this.
Thank you.
I'm just sad I couldn't put more commentary over it because it is just really, really good.
No, it is.
Yeah,
it is
I am thoroughly impressed, and it even looks like a Pokemon. It looks great.
Yeah,
thank you.
You did a really good job getting that Pokemon feel to it. It's really nice.
Appreciate that. I'm okay. Well, I guess we'll get into Jeff's, and I'll bring that up here.
I haven't seen a ton of Jeff's art. I've seen some bits on his Twitter, and a couple of the old things, so I really don't know what to expect. It's really exciting.
It's gonna be a train wreck already. I'm starting off.
Train
with
wrecks
different...
are hard to draw. Okay,
I'm already starting off with
a
different size. So
yeah, you
I figured it out after I drew everything, right? So this is gonna be on this. You're just gonna have to deal with it, but
that's fine.
Oh, this is like when people record their video on their phones the wrong way.
Yeah, that's what happened. just imagine that being my issue. All right,
ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I chose Spinnerack.
Ooh,
because
underrated
I thought,
Pokemon.
He was just way too underrated. Like I felt like he needed a better style. I also kind of went with I changed it up a bit. You'll see after.
Oh, I'm sad.
But no, I mean it's right now. It's changing right now. But I designed it based off of like Spanish like flamenco dance fans. Like they're very vibrant and they have like different colors and patterns all over them. So
the pose is amazing already.
I wanted to make it look like a little fan in the back, but also with the Halloween vibe, I wanted to give it a little spooky pumpkin carving kind of look,
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Look at the little mandibles. Look at those.
I love his little pose because you can imagine him like he's pushing his arms up, like like raise the roof, but he's like bouncing on his legs. Like I can totally see this dance in animation.
I actually based this off of the peacock spider. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I have seen. Yeah.
And I knew it was referring. I was like, this looks familiar.
Yeah, so he has his little hands up. I do a lot of references to what the peacock spider does. It's like it's dance. It's little flamboyant dance to attract mates. But I'll go into more detail as the drawing comes up. Yeah, I chose Vileplume's palette.
That's cool. That's good. It's very colorful. I like it.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They use the other Pokemon for color.
Yeah, I mean,
it works.
It helps keep Pokemon looking more uniform with the Pokemon universe when you use that same palette.
Oh, yeah,
look at that background.
This is my background, my half-baked background.
No, that looks amazing. I like that.
Yeah, it gets worse. But I decided to just leave it up for some reason. I should have just kept the white background, but I like the way it was, fitting the spooky vibe of Halloween. But yeah, now I'm just working on some shading. I have a very unorthodox version of shading. You guys did a really good job. I'm just smudging here.
No, this looks. I mean, that's part of it. Is the smudge factor.
I also didn't like its eyes, so that changes up at the very end. I wanted it to look a little more derpy.
You slapped some glasses on it, didn't you?
No. It kind of at first it kind of looks like it, but I have a little trouble with the eyes. But yeah, oh yeah, this is how I do my outlines. A little tutorial. I just fill everything in white, and I use Gaussian blur.
Ooh, nice. I've never thought about doing that actually.
And then I use the select tool and cut everything out all nice and smooth. Ooh, I go back in.
That's an interesting technique. I've never thought about doing that.
I actually learned it from somebody on
Oh,
YouTube.
and then you know, a little drop shadow. Ooh. I'm gonna need you to stop that right now.
Yeah, so it just progressively gets like, a little more detailed in the background department, but it's just, just a cheap little background. It's a placeholder.
Here
Yeah,
comes the
that's
Oh,
eyes.
there's the eyes. Ooh.
there's the eyes.
I love the
There.
pan.
The little pan.
Oh,
That's my
yeah.
iMovie editing for you. So here is Paldean
I
Spinnerack.
see what you meant now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's got that. Are you guys getting any weird sounds on your end?
Nope.
No.
All right, cool. My computer was just doing some weird. So all right. So yeah, this is Paldean Spinnerack. I gave it the abilities Intimidate, along with Cute Charm, which is one of those abilities where if you get hit, the opposite gender Pokemon will fall in love, and then Shadow Tag. It like forces the opponent to stay in battle. I figured the hidden ability Shadow Tag would be really nice if you find a little Spinnerack.
I love how
Yeah.
small it is.
It's like it looks
Yeah.
it's like it hypnotizes them to stay in battle. That's cool.
It's a little guy.
He does the happy meme crab dance. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
exactly. Yeah, so I basically made it, it's got a little special dance. The Pokedex entry goes, this Pokemon uses a special dance along with its vibrant colors to attract a potential mate. It has also been known to use its unique pattern to strike fear into opponents, making this small arachnid a large threat. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love this. I did not expect you to do Spinnerack.
You know, it would
That's awesome.
be a really cool effect to add to this guy is while he's doing his dance, the yellow and the red eyes on his back like pulse with a glow.
Ooh, yeah. I'll animate that one
Kind
of
of
these
kind of
days.
like kind of like the candle flicker in a jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but I wanted him to be a little quick too, so you'll notice his speed is like higher than everything else.
Nice.
I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. He's
I want
my
this on my.
favorite.
I would want this on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
I
you.
always liked Spinnerack and Arios, especially after the Latios movie. I don't know. I liked that the two Team Rocket girls have an Ariados.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorites as well. Like when Johto, that whole thing came out, I just felt like he didn't have enough love. He has one evolution, but I think
Yeah,
he
he's
needed
usually
another one.
depicted as pretty scary and strong when he's in like the anime and stuff, but then in the game it's like everything swats it.
Yeah. All right, so I will stop sharing and we can get back to the actual video here.
And here we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
And here you'll see I draw Ariados, my version of Ariados. Paldean Ariados. So I started off a little jank. Not gonna lie. But
what is this? I don't know. I like what's going on with the back
he
already.
was taking a bath.
It gets gross, but also cool gross.
I am a big fan of cool gross.
Is that Spinnerack egg sack?
Yeah. We're gonna say it. We're just gonna go ahead and say that's the Spinnerack egg sack. I start getting into like this phase where it's like he's a big boy now, so it's gonna need to like be a little more protective. I wanted it to be more like nurturing and very defensive.
I love that it still has the same mandibles. That's like one of my favorite parts of the first design.
I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too. I do change up his face slightly. Its face. So I did my whole line art and then I realized, oops, I forgot the middle arms. So you're gonna see me struggling for a bit here. I really wanted to get them like surrounding the pouch on its back. And I also slightly struggled with the color palette. I was like, do I want it to look exactly like Spinnerack? Do I want to change it up a little bit?
I
love these bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted it to be vibrant, like kind of like I said with the fan thing. But
Ariados does have way different colors than Spinnerack.
Mm-hmm. but I did want to keep it, kind of close to home with the original.
Yeah.
And yeah, here I'm just making another little face design.
I like that it looks like it's got like a little mouth.
I end
I
up
didn't even
changing
notice
it.
that. Oh my god.
I ended up changing that. I don't want to get you like too hyped. You're gonna be
It's
like,
too late. I'm already hyped.
Yeah,
I
you've
actually
disappointed Slow Speedrun with the first face you took away on Spinner. Now you're disappointing me with this cute little weird face that it doesn't have.
imagine just taking out the actual like the bigger eyes. It's just those two little beady eyes.
They shouldn't be
This
like, well,
Ariados is
guys, I decided
blind.
just to erase the whole thing and I just drew a cube. So it's the second evolution is just a cube.
Yeah, it's just a cube now. Yeah, but there I go again with my
I like
method.
I like this method. This is
Well,
cool.
yeah, anybody at home, that's it. It's as easy as that for a nice outline. Yeah, so I changed up the eyes. I was like, do I put some more eyes? Do I take them off? So I just
All the
started
eyes.
taking them off. Yeah, there I go
But
again,
you
struggling.
kept this little zigzag thing, right?
Yeah, I did. The
Okay, well,
zigzag stays.
That's
the part I
fine.
really cared about.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I like too. Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
love it. Oh, look at that shiny. Look at that shiny.
Ooh,
That's the one.
I
This
love
is the
that
one where
shiny.
I would not be able to have a regular. I would need that shiny.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the shiny, I definitely wanted to, make it like really stand out. So yeah, this is Paldean Ariados. It's a bug psychic type, same as Spinnerack. Except now the second ability is replaced with Pickpocket because it's a little thief.
Ooh.
And now beginning its first steps into adulthood, Ariados becomes more defensive and protects the pouch on its back. Usually very reclusive, but while it's out hunting, anything that gets too close will surely be attacked on sight. So it's kind of like, it's defensive, like I said, and gets like, more protective. Spinnerack's evolution only occurs if it has found its mate, which, if you have noticed the male to female ratio, there's a lot more males than there are females. Kind of like, the actual insect itself. It struggles to find a mate. And yeah, I wanted to make it a little more oriented with the actual insect itself.
Well, I think you did a great job with this so far.
This looks cool.
Yeah, this is
I
amazing.
So I have a question. So like both the male and the female form carry a sack.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to get like I kind of thought like maybe you can get like the regular Johto region female and
Ooh,
breed
interesting.
it with the male version of Paldean Ariados, or I mean Spinnerack, or vice versa. So if you have the female version, I was kind of going to write that into the lore a little bit, but I didn't get around to it. So
I mean, and it could just be the other one just is the same exact thing, just with no sack, no egg sack in
yeah,
the back. I mean, why not?
yeah. So yeah, that's Paldean Ariados.
It's beautiful.
Pretty. Oh yeah, the quick legs Pokemon because it's a little speedier now.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yes.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So this is by far my favorite of the three. It's not Batman.
No, I love the mouth again.
Those are not the eyes as well. The horns get bigger. I was struggling with the eyes actually, but I put little Spinnerack on its back.
Oh, cool. That's like
no. I love Dragapult. I love that.
Wait until you see the shiny. I think that's my favorite part.
No.
But yeah, this is well, I won't ruin the name. I'll wait until we get there. But I thought
is it Greg?
It's it's Greg. You got me.
It's the Pokemon Greg.
Gregiados.
Gregiados. Yeah, I had a lot of fun drawing this one. The only thing that I will say is I made it a little too symmetrical.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You mentioned that.
But I do enjoy the end result. I get the color palette once again from Spinnerack. I feel like I just did a better job with him than Ariados, but I do like Ariados' shiny. Yeah, so I start off with Spinnerack, of course. And I later decide, oh, what's his color palette gonna be? And I just went yellow, and I was like, no, I didn't like that. So I kind of switched the colors around a little bit. I should have
I'm
went
liking
with
this blue though.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
It's a really good. It's a
blue
really good
stays.
blue.
The blue stays here. You'll see me struggling with the eyes. I'm like, the hell do I do here? I'm just gonna take them off completely. Does it look good without eyes? And I'm like, let me just make some weird other Pokemon eyes. So I settled with this actually. This is
no. I
Nice.
like that. Yeah.
yeah. So I
it's
settled
like
with this.
it's like kind of like a Naganadel thing.
It's like a luchador mask almost.
Yeah.
A
I
little
like
like
that.
Galissapod action. I think his eyes are very similar, and I thought it would look cool on this spider. But yeah, you're gonna see the name pop up pretty soon. I'm just doing a little bit of shading. I really enjoyed the name I gave him. It's super simple, but it comes across perfect. It's like the name for this Pokemon.
Spider
great.
Greg.
Spider Greg.
Does whatever Spider Greg does.
Yeah. So I'm just highlighting now, giving it a little extra, pop.
So
Once
this
again,
thing is like Vespiquen, where it sends its babies after you.
is that what
Ooh.
Vespiquen does?
Yeah, under her dress, her dress is a beehive, and she sends combies after you. That's what attack order and defense order and heal order do.
Well,
That's really cool.
that is fine for Vespiquen, but if this thing did that, I think I would have a very big problem with just getting swarmed by tiny spiders.
Its arms wrapped like, behold my legion.
It's just two.
Yeah, it's just two little
I'm still
guys.
working on it.
You know what would be really funny is if you drew this from the back and there's just a giant zipper down the sack.
Yeah. I really did enjoy this one though. I think Spinnerack and this one are definitely my favorites.
You know, when you said bug type, I don't know why spider didn't immediately come to mind because of the Halloween theme of this challenge.
So yeah, the name I chose is Spawnder.
Spawnder. I like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That is a really good name. I love that.
Yes, that shiny is awesome.
So the shiny not only has the Spinnerax in it, which people sometimes complain. It's like, but the evolution, it loses all its beautiful pre-evolution colors. I gave you best of both worlds here. It's got that nice dark theme going on to it. It loses its bug type and it is replaced with poison.
That's interesting.
So I think it just becomes a little stronger, and it's typing.
Earlier when you mentioned something, there was gonna be something with the shiny. I was sort of afraid you were gonna give it because with the way you were drawing it, it had the little Spinnerax in the back. I thought it was gonna be the exact same colors as shiny Spinnerack.
Yeah.
But I really liked that you went different and then still gave it the shiny Paldean Spinnerack on the back. That's really awesome.
I just figured, it's got its little hatchlings out now. Makes it a little more intimidating.
Absolutely.
So speaking of intimidating, it's the wandering spider Pokemon, which nobody likes. It also replaces its hidden ability, Shadow Tag, with Web Snare.
Oh.
So this is an ability I made up. It's Web Snare forces the opposing Pokemon to stay in battle, same thing as Shadow Tag, but as the opposing Pokemon is stuck, it also loses 1/16 of its maximum HP at the end of each turn, healing the Pokemon with the least amount of HP in your party.
Oh.
So I figured, there's a little bit of a new mechanic there.
That's interesting.
And then its special move, I gave it a move called Dinner Party, which is a dark type move. If the opposing Pokemon is affected with a status condition, this attack does 6% damage to the opponent's entire team. So another new little mechanic. This Pokemon's just broken.
That's ridiculous.
It's just like an OP Pokemon, and its speed stat is just off the charts. It's like you compare that to like legendary speed, and I just made him like a complete OP boss.
Wow. I just realized this is an almost 7 foot, 250-pound spider.
Yeah.
That is troubling on so many levels.
Yeah. So it's definitely an 8-leg, well, a 6-legged freak, but
Oh my gosh.
don't let its size fool you. This Pokemon is very quick for how large it is. Along with its enormous, intimidating figure, it also carries around its younglings. This is a tactical advantage, as it also uses its spawn to steal anything it finds interesting.
Ooh.
It keeps all its newly found goodies in its large silken pouch. So, still a thief. It's kind of a beast.
I love it. I love this
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, but that's Spawnder.
I love Spawnder.
Me
I
too.
love him.
This is another Pokemon that I would catch the hell out of, in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
Might help
That's
if I've not
awesome.
been muted for the last 5 minutes. I love the sack thing of the whole thing.
Yes.
My favorite detail is around his eye, where his horn meets his eye, because it kind of like, I don't know, I like the way the eye fits around the horn.
Yeah, because in the previous evolutions, I kind of gave him like a little crown. It starts on, Spinarak's back, then it moves Gyarados' head, and then it just becomes his eyes.
I was also saying that the dinner party name of the move is a horrifying name.
Yeah. Dinner party. Oh my god.
Spider's having a little dinner party.
All right, we're gonna get into Donovan's here.
Let's go, Donovan.
Okay, so I actually need to move this.
Let's see this masterpiece.
Yeah. The suspense has been killing me.
Oh my god, for like the past month, we have been like, what is he drawing?
Pause. Pause the start thing. So I chose the Lucario line, and there wasn't much. My Halloween theme was a werewolf.
Ooh,
but
okay,
there wasn't much. There wasn't much in the line of a Spanish werewolf folklore. The closest thing was like some cannibal guy that claimed to be a werewolf, but he wasn't, and so he's more in legend. He's more thought of. Yeah, he's thought of as a boogeyman, and he doesn't really take any kind of wolf form. So what I did.
Do you keep this holding its ear up? It's so cute.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks great.
So what I did is I based them off the first forms off the Iberian wolf, which is in Spain-ish kind of area. And so before the werewolves thing sets in, because that doesn't set into the third evolution. So the first theme of these guys is the whole misconceptions about wolves, where people think they're man-eaters and they're nuisances. So these guys, the reason I drew him so sad is because with their little ear tuft things, they're able to sense emotions and aura and stuff like that. So because these Riolu are a little bit bigger than the other ones, they're also stronger. So like even when they're playing, they're destructive. And because they kind of are a little bit more mangier looking than regular Riolu that are furrier and fuzzier, they're considered dangerous nuisances by the populace, and they're chased and shooed, and people just treat them like you would treat like an ugly stray cat or something. And so they're very self-conscious despite looking quite fearsome. And then the Iberian wolf thing, you'll see when he starts getting colored, plays into his color, but also matches the Halloween theme with the black and orange.
I like it.
It's like you're doing that thing where you flip your canvas around, like a professional digital artist.
I don't know how to make that stop. Like I thought there was a setting I could do where it didn't.
No, I'm saying I like it. I need to do more of it. That's one thing that
I have to flip it because like just drawing certain lines, it's easier if the page is turned for me.
Absolutely. I don't do it. I need to.
Yeah, I flip my canvas a lot, but I leave it on the setting where it just leaves the canvas still.
So the regular Riolus, they have like around their neck, they have like a little yellow band that's like a collar. And so because I was making him furrier and mangier, I decided to give him like a little tuft of fur that resembles a hoodie. I think right here, I took a brief break and forgot to push pause, but I'm doing some shading a little bit. I gave him yellow eyes to look a little more fierce, and I gave him a big fang.
The highlights are looking great.
They're a few inches taller than regular Riolus. And they're more they've got their physical and special stats pretty much flipped from regular. I wanted to say Cantonian, but I meant Sinnoh.
Yeah, and that's something I should have done on mine with the yellow eyes, like the whites turn yellow. But I think I did the teeth instead, a little more yellow for that menacing look.
That mangy look.
Yeah,
This looks incredible.
I love it.
Um,
Yeah, I love the orange.
Yeah, the orange was working out really good. It didn't work out so good for the evolutions though. Okay, so here is Paldean Riolu.
Look at
Ooh,
that
look.
shiny.
Yeah,
It's the
that's
Lucario
shiny.
or the
Yeah, it's
original. I love
I
it.
went because he's now dark type. I did a slightly darker blue than the baby blue of Riolu.
uh-huh.
They're still dark type, but I did go back to like the white eyes. So he's got all the same abilities that Riolu has. So inner focus, steadfast, and prankster, because prankster works for them. And yeah, I flipped. I think in Riolu the attack and special attack are almost even, but I completely like hacked up his special attack and made them more physical because they're slightly bigger. Like Riolu's like 1'8" or something, and this one's like 2'10". So they're bigger than normal Riolu and can be quite destructive even when playing, not knowing their own strength. Due to this and their wild-looking appearance, they're treated as local nuisances. If they steal food or break something, they can make the owner believe something else happened with their move Deja Vu. So Deja
Ooh.
Vu, the user puts a murky aura over itself, but if attacked, the target then takes damage and becomes confused.
I
Oh,
love that.
nice. Yeah, that's sick.
So it doesn't and like the aura wouldn't last the whole battle. Like you've got that one turn to be attacked. If you're not attacked that turn, you're gonna have to put another Deja Vu over yourself.
Nice.
But it's
Yeah.
kind of like it'll always go last. I mean, the move goes first. It's a high priority, so the move would always go first. And then if you're attacked that turn, then it does its power of 30 attack damage on the user.
This is really
Yeah,
cool.
and then the male and female ratio is the same. It's mostly male.
Kind of like my little spin rack. That's really nice. I really enjoy that shiny too.
Speaking of genders and stuff, just a forewarning. I will pretty much always do 50-50 unless it's sort of like a Jinx or Mr. Mime situation. You know, it's like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
requires it. I don't know why. I just want to be 50-50.
I kind of wanted it to be a little more like, one-sided because the males are the ones doing all the dancing, you know?
Yeah, this whole
I
stat
did.
thing is really not my forte. So I'm just gonna make it right down the middle.
I did it the same. I did the same as regular Riolu for the gender thing because I figured because they're these ones are more like wolves than they are the like Egyptian jackals that Lucario is based off because he's kind of a mix of Anubis and like an Egyptian boxer for Lucario.
Mm.
And so I went with more of a wolf kind of theme with these guys. Like I even did the tail a lot bigger than a regular Riolu.
I was about to say I really like the tail on this. I didn't really notice it before when you were drawing it, but like looking at it as a whole, this tail
Yeah,
is really awesome.
very cool.
So this one is my absolute favorite. It turned out perfect, like almost the first try, but I did suffer a lot of going back and redoing the face and the head, and I definitely didn't know what to do with the ear tuft things. You might see it and you might not, but I give him scars over his eye right there. And for the longest time, I was going to have it like a Spinda thing where each Lucario had its own configuration of 2 scars. It was random because they were going to be once you're Lucario, if you defeated another Lucario in a rival pack, you would get your scar, and every scar you got was like a mark of how strong you were. So your
That's really
Lucario could have
dope.
up to 4 scars when you caught it or evolved it.
This
And
thing's
so here it,
a
yeah,
barbarian.
I'm really like experimenting with what to do with his aura sensing thingies.
Hmm.
But then I got the idea to look at Ryu from Street Fighter, and
Oh,
I added it as kind of like a bandana marking on his face on top of his
Yeah,
mask,
yeah,
and
that's sweet.
that actually helped with my coloring too, because in his little yellow jacket that's on Lucario, I made it actually white, like it's a torn karate gi. And same with the end of his legs where it looks like it's fuzzy,
yeah.
like it's like a torn gi, except I didn't color that white too.
Mm,
And of
that
course, he gets
looks
the big massive tail as well. And then I had it to where since these guys are considered nuisances, and they steal livestock and stuff, their spike on their arm has evolved into a shackle, kind of like they're limited by society. They got encroachment in their land. People are hunting them and shooing them away because they see them as a nuisance. And so these guys aren't sad anymore. They've become very embittered to mankind. And so hence the dark type. And now to survive, they can't hunt like they normally do. So they have to steal and fight dirty and basically become the very nuisances people think of them as just to get by. And here I wasn't sure what to do with the colors, and the red and the orange weren't working, so I muted it down to a brown.
Oh, no, I
That
like
looks
it.
sick. Kind of looks like Snake a little bit with that bandana on.
Yeah.
And I think I like this also with the muted orange to be a sort of a brown. It works more as like camouflage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not super
I
bright
also
like
figured
Naruto.
it's also like adulthood, like the bright baby orange starts, muting down as it matures. And
Yeah,
they gave it little markings on its feet to look like karate bands, like bandages.
It's a very rad design. I really enjoy this.
I made them a little beefier too. Like if you look at a regular Lucario, they have a very small chest area.
Yeah,
Like
I can see the biceps, man.
Yeah, these guys are definitely. These guys are the ones I switched even though Lucario's attack and special attack are very close, I still switched him around to where he's more of a physical attacker than the counterpart Lucario's.
Yeah,
but they still have access to that aura. And
when
with
I look
these
at this,
guys, their little aura things help them sense prey.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, and here is Paldean Lucario. He's dark steel.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh my God. I absolutely adore that shiny. This design with like a darker Lucario coloring is just so menacing. Look at that.
Like, why would you catch regular Lucario when this is an option?
Right.
It's so
again,
good.
I also did like a darker muted yellow and darker blue to show that he's still a dark type.
That is so cool.
I feel like the regular one is the one that like hunts, does all its thievery and hunting and whatever it does during the day. But the shiny is like the nighttime version. Like it prevails at night, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of like the dark lichen rock. It's giving me like those dark vibes.
Yeah. I was actually, when I was looking for color options, I noticed Thievel. Thievel's got very similar colors.
Oh yeah.
So his abilities are still, he's the dark aura Pokemon now instead of the aura Pokemon.
Nice.
And he's got the same abilities, Inner Focus and Steadfast, but instead of Justice, or I forget what it is, what is it? I'm gonna look this up, edit this out. I should know this. Lucario is my favorite Pokemon. Okay, it's Justified. So in Justified, it's being hit by a dark type move boosts the attack stat of the Pokemon for Justice. Well, I went with the opposite of someone fighting for justice, and I did Insurgent. But the wording is not the opposite of Justified. The wording is a retool of Electivire's Motor Drive. So Insurgent, the Pokemon resists the natural order of things, boosting its attack stat if hit by a fighting type move instead of taking damage. So as a Dark Steel, he's 4 times weak to fighting type. But with Insurgent as his ability, he's immune to fighting types and instead gets his attack raised.
Oh my God. So he's broken too.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
But only if you have the hidden ability. So they're larger than their counterparts, granting them more physical power overall. But they've mastered a dark aura power that's just as destructive as their might. Due to human encroachment and hunting, they've had to resort to thievery and fighting dirty to survive, pushing them into becoming the very nuisances they're perceived as. Same gender, more 87, 12% female. You evolve it on high friendship at night instead of during the day for Lucario. And then they are also a foot taller than Lucario, who is 3'11. So they're 4'11. The special move is Miasma Sphere, which is like a dark aura sphere. The user throws a sphere of dark aura from deep within its body at the target. This attack never misses. But other than the name and the typing, it's the same as Aura Sphere. So this one, you'll also see a lot of my frustrated parts where I just draw random silly stuff.
This
for a split second there, yeah. See, like this is random silly stuff. I'm just like trying to figure out what to do, and I get frustrated and I start over.
I love that mouth.
He went through a lot of redesigns. Sorry, you're not going to get to keep that mouth.
Damn it.
This is like see, there's
I like that
this
mouth
one
too.
though.
This one doesn't stay either.
God, stop.
So right here, what I'm trying to do, pause for a second.
Okay.
So right here with a lot of these, because you'll see on his arms what his spikes evolve into. I tried to, because he's a werewolf now. He's feral. He's huge, and dangerous, and so I tried to take poses from Wolverine from X-Men.
Ooh,
I was
okay.
trying to mimic those, and I had a horrible time. That's why you see me draw like 7 different heads already. But I had a horrible time trying to figure out what to do with his face, and I actually tried to do where his ears were pushed back a little bit, and then I made his mask resemble Wolverine's mask with his ears pushed back.
Nice.
And I was trying to do something like that. Okay, you can play again. I ended up scrapping that idea because it was too hard. I started like with human proportions, like right here. This is the Wolverine pose, and I started with human superhero proportions, and then I started messing around with the proportions. I think you'll see me try to do his Wolverine mask here too.
Dude, this is sick.
This isn't even his final form.
This is
so right here. Yeah, you'll see I keep going back and forth. And then I tried to do this thing where he has sideburns, kind of like the original werewolf.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell whether I wanted to be that part of his regular brown fur or if I wanted it to be part of his mask. I didn't know if I should have it be really big.
Yep, there it is. There it was.
Yeah, there was.
There was.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent a day or two just on this head alone. And this is probably where I'm like looking at Wolverine pictures and trying to figure out what to do and going back between Mega Lucario and Wolverine and trying to figure out what to do. And I started messing with the proportions. Maybe I'll like it better. I couldn't tell whether to do fuzzy cheeks or no fuzzy cheeks.
Oh, always fuzzy cheeks.
Yeah.
And I started over. And this
and you
is the
started over.
Oh
this
man.
is the beginning of the final.
I love that other design though. It was really good. Oh, this is actually looking really sick too.
Here I used, because I was doing the Wolverine claws anyway, I used a pose I saw from, I believe it's called War Greymon from Digimon, because he has very similar arm things. And so I needed a pose like that. And the original pose before this had a fist, had his paws into a fist, and it actually made drawing that hand on the left side hard. So I didn't know what to, because his spikes are supposed to have overgrown to the point where they're fused to his paws, and now even when he retracts his giant claws, they're still sticking out, and he has to be really careful and really gentle. So like a werewolf, even when he's calm and tame, he's still dangerous because his claws, no matter whether retract or not, are always out. And then from here, I kind of merged the idea of the regular Lucario with Anubis, how he's kind of a Nubian. So you get kind of an Anubis plus werewolf here. And that's what I ended up going for. And I turned his 4 tentacle things into 8, and then it looked way too much. And I get rid of a few of them later on, but he ends up with 6 of them. But yeah, this ends up getting like beyond legendary levels of detail, and it's just too busy. But I do go back and I fix it. Like I gave him like some gold things on his head that attached to his tentacles, and or his dreadlocks, as I started calling him.
Yeah, those are sick dreadlocks.
But overall, my goal here was to mix Mega Lucario into this evolution with the idea that Mega Lucario is tapping into this evolution potential, but you're only seeing parts of the features coming through that Lucario body in Lucario. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
really,
like if
really
you look
cool
at Mega
idea.
Lucario, he has those spikes on his mask on the top and the bottom, but they're like patterned onto his face, whereas him, the top one at least is like an eyebrow tuft of hair.
Yeah, this is insane.
And then here's the Egyptian part that comes through. I started doing like the fur, kind of like I guess a loincloth, because I didn't know what else to do with the fur. The gi thing doesn't work anymore, and I gave him kind of like an Egyptian pattern around his eye. And like the Mega Lucario, I gave him the spikes on his shoulder pad things, but I aimed him upward instead of forward.
Super edgy.
This is where I was starting to.
Sorry, I'm just entranced in this speed drawing.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
This here, I was drawing the pattern on the arm, trying to figure out where it would be on the arm with his arms in those positions, trying to figure out where the pattern would go.
This thing's just pointy all over.
The 2 spikes. Yeah, see, I was trying to incorporate Mega Lucario stuff with the spikes on the feet, and I ended up not doing the stripes on the legs though.
How does this thing sleep? Like everywhere it lays is gonna be like laying on a spike. It doesn't sleep.
It doesn't.
On his side.
On his side.
On his side with his big paw as a pillow.
That's fair.
Oh man, here's that beautiful line work.
Yeah, your line work is ridiculous. Like when we were watching mine back, I kept thinking like, "Oh, I hope you don't notice how crappy my line work is." Like I didn't erase. I like some were still going through the lines, and I should have erased that. And...
Yeah, I thought the same thing on mine. I was like, "Ooh, I see a line that I don't like."
Yeah, I'm meticulous. When I'm done drawing a line, if I see it overlapping another line, I get it right then and there. Mm-hmm. I'll take the little eraser and erase that little nub that's sticking out.
Yeah. As where I'll be like, I'll take care of that later, and then I forget about it until we're watching it.
Yeah, I'm all over the place when I draw. I like to, go here, go there, and then like I'll get lost of where I was before.
But that's why we're here. We're here to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
We're learn from each other, and we'll get better over time.
Yeah,
I'm already like
editing software over time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm already thinking of just getting better like gear and tools to use, because this quality is just chef's kiss.
Absolutely. There's just something about being able to watch this process of a speed drawing and then talking to the artist like in real time, like as it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when we were just messing around on Zoom, and I was just like, "Oh crap! Like, you're really good." This is giving me like Mega Man boss vibes right now.
Yeah, I went all out with the claws. I wanted the claw that was the biggest up front to be thicker lines, as if it was closer to the camera.
You think of everything. Because, I don't.
Well, when I was inking, I was really zoomed up on everything to ink everything like straight and everything. So when I zoomed out, the lines were super thin. And I actually ended up using this tool that I learned, this green tool, to thicken his entire body. But I thickened the most on the arm that's up in the air.
I was about to ask you about what that green thing was. I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah, it's a tool in Clip Studio. It's called Line Correct or whatever. And you can set how much it thickens the line. And every time you go over the line, it'll thicken it that much. So I had it, it'll thicken the line 2 times, like times 2. Mm-hmm. And I just kept going over it until it was where I wanted it. So here, my original, because the Mega Lucario has red feet and red paws, like the ends, and red on the end of his dreadlocks, I wanted this guy to be, his fur to be red, like he was just full on rage, because he's a werewolf. All right, so here is Luginrio.
Luginrio. Oh, look at those eyes.
God, dude.
I hate this, but I love it.
That is so scary.
So I named him Luginrio because in Japan, I did many researches on this to make sure it was right. Jinro is Japanese for werewolf.
Oh,
that's sick.
So he's the guardian Pokemon, kind of like a mix between, Aura and Guardian, Aura Guardian from the movies. So he still has Steadfast and Inner Focus, but his new hidden ability is Dread Howl. Dreadhall, the Pokemon changes the weather to night, which we do not have in the games, causing gloomy night weather, which is the new weather, and sometimes like the full moon, and then murky terrain, which is my new ghost type terrain.
Ooh, nice.
Gloomy night increases the power of dark type moves, and murky terrain increases the power of ghost type moves, and prevents Pokemon from being hit by normal or fighting type moves while the murky terrain is active. So he summons a weather and a terrain at the beginning of battle for his ability.
Can you imagine just like going about your business and all of a sudden it just turns night?
like
oh,
werewolf levels Halloween night in a spooky forest. That's what gloomy night does.
And I have to admit, this one I think I would much prefer to have the original color. I really like the original coloring.
Let me zoom up real quick on the shiny, because this is where the Anubis stuff comes in. I tried to give him kind of like Egyptian Anubis colors, and he even has like, you know, like the yellow Egyptian eye
I like
thing.
That.
Right?
I noticed that before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let me.
Yeah, just wow.
Just dude.
Seriously.
I'm the first to admit that he's way too detailed for a Pokemon, and he kind of lacks it. But I simplified a lot of stuff on him. If you go back, you'll see I simplified his claws a lot. They don't have the individual like claw sheaths on it, and all the bands on his dreadlocks aren't metal anymore. They're just like the bandana pattern, like the mummy wrappings. Is kind of what I thought of it as. They're like the mummy wrappings.
All right. So
his info. These Pokemon are so rare and powerful that many do not believe they exist. Despite this, Luginrio are feared as monsters of legend. Should you be bitten by a Luginrio on a gloomy night, it will taint your aura, cursing you to turn into a Luginrio upon every full moon. That's the legend. That's the part that's not true. However, some cultures revered Luginrio as guardians of the dead, guiding souls to the spirit world. One myth even depicts an oddly colored Luginrio as a god that ruled the spirit world. So basically, in the Pokemon world, shiny Luginrio is Anubis.
Ooh.
Or at least a shiny Luginrio.
Yeah, you got some shiny lore in there. That's nice, dude.
That's really cool.
And I mean, in the Pokemon world, stands to reason that maybe a pharaoh had a super shiny, like, you know, rare shiny Luginrio and proclaimed it as a god of
absolutely.
the spirit world. So to level this up, this is also a VITCH to level up. So to evolve, I mean, because like I said, they're rare and powerful. So you level up Lucario to 50, like almost like a pseudo legend. Then you use Gloomy Night. The Lucario itself does not have to use Gloomy Night. Just in battle, Gloomy Night has to be used. During a full moon in your switch clock, like a full moon,
right,
between 8 and 4 a.m.
Ooh.
So on your count, like, so you could skip the time to a day, because full moons last 2 or 3 days usually. Like there's one night where it's the fullest, but there's like 2 or 3 nights where the full moon's up in the sky. So those 3 nights you could evolve him after you use Gloomy Night in battle. So it's like the Lucario reacts to that, you know, celestial event.
That's sick.
And goes into his werewolf form. Because in my trio, Lucario's kind of, with him being like merged with Rio from Street Fighter, it's kind of like the human version of the evolution, and he becomes the werewolf. So his special move, and he's 7'10", by the way. I don't know if you noticed.
No, I noticed.
85 pounds.
I noticed.
All right,
that's
so
huge.
Sink In is his new special move. Using his teeth or claws, the Pokemon sinks them into the opponent, preventing them from escaping for 2 to 5 turns, and draining them of life force, gaining 50% of the damage dealt as health.
Ooh.
So that was kind of like my way of recreating the werewolf regeneration.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Originally, I had Sink In, Gloomy Night, and Murky Terrain as his special moves. And then his ability was actually called Ravager, where every physical damage he does, he gets health back.
Oh.
Dude, that's sick. It's kind of how I pictured Spawnder, my Pokemon. Like that's kind of how I wanted it to be, but I just chose to make it his ability.
Yeah. So I thought about changing like Steadfast or Inner Focus into Ravager, but there was no place to like put Ravager's description or have Gloomy Night and Murky Terrain as moves. So I just made Gloomy Night and Murky Terrain his ability.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, but with Ravager, if you have Ravager and you use Sink In, that's a lot of regen, and you could like wear Leftovers or a Shell Bell. Like this Pokemon would be impossible to kill because
Oh yeah.
everything it does just heals it. Oh,
That's ridiculous.
The Ravager also had the effect of he like a werewolf. If you just shoot them with bullets, you piss them off, and it doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So Ravager, not only did he get health with physical damage, but what was it? You had, I don't remember what it was. It was you. Oh right, if you used a physical attack against him, any physical attack of any type, it would not affect him unless it was a super effective attack.
Oh.
So you could only hit the werewolf with his weaknesses.
So you're kind of
Oh.
forcing the user to know what is super effective. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Forcing
So
them to
for him, it would
somehow
be
prepared for
fighting.
this.
Fighting would be 4 times effective on him, but with Dread Howl, for at least 5 turns, you can't hit him with any fighting or normal type moves. So fighting would be
Oh.
out. So you would have to use fire, which is where a common werewolf weakness is fire.
That is interesting. I like
And
that.
the steel part means he's not weak to steel, like a silver bullet, because he's adapted the silver as his body.
Dude, this thing's got so many twists. It's like an M.
So that
Night
was
Shyamalan Pokemon right now.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas for the ability, but I got rid of it because
That is
of
ridiculous,
lack of
and I love it.
Yeah.
This thing scares me.
Yeah. It's a really good design too.
All right, well, I wanted to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and checking out these new ghostly and spooky variants of Pokemon in the Paldean region. We have a lot of stuff planned for the future. We have a Discord that is being worked on right now. I'll go ahead and put the invite for that in the description. And also, if you want to find any of us on Twitter, you can find all those in the description, including the official Twitter of this channel, Doodle Lounge. Yeah.
We can each say like, my name is this, my name is this, my name is this. Thank you. Or, see you next time on Doodle Lounge or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we'll go James, and we'll just go in the order we did. So it'll be like, my name is James, my name is Floyd, my name is Donovan.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. So, yeah. Okay. So my name is James.
And I'm Jeff.
And I am Donovan.
We'll see you on the next episode of Doodle
Doodle
Lounge.
Lounge.
We'll see you on the next episode of Doodle Lounge.
Doodle
Doodle
Lounge.
Lounge.
God damn it.
Jeff.
Was it me?
Yes.
We're blaming you regardless.
Me and
Okay.
me and Slow had it perfect.
Okay, okay.
Okay, ready? We'll see you on the next episode of Doodle Lounge.
Doodle
Doodle
Lounge.
Lounge.
Doodle Lounge.
Good enough.
Doodle Lounge.